Hello, Newcastle family. Welcome to another video. And I mean, I just woke up today. I was like, another day, a lot of transfer talk. Let me just look on the internet, see what's going on. Then I see something absolutely incredible. One of my favourite number 9s on the market. One of the guys I wanted to see at Arsenal ahead of Victor Gyökeres. He's of interest to Newcastle, and they plan to play him with Alexander Isak. I mean, my word. We'll be getting into all of that, saying how it will work, why it's such a good player, why it's such a good signing. It's going to be a really exciting video. But before I begin, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe and the like as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. But let's just start with the report from Fabrizio Romano and what he said regarding Hugo Ekitike.
Newcastle are working on the deal to sign Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt. I told you last week and I maintain my position. Newcastle are on it. Newcastle want Ekitike. They wanted João Pedro before he decided to go to Chelsea, so they're still looking to add one more offensive player up front. They believe Ekitike is perfect for Eddie Howe in terms of skills, in terms of potential, in terms of goals to bring to the squad to play Champions League football next season. So Newcastle are working hard on the deal to sign Hugo Ekitike. He's a top target for them. They are really pushing now, working on the agreement on player side and with Eintracht. Of course, he's an expensive player, so it's not an easy or immediate deal for Ekitike, but Newcastle are on it in these hours, not in 3 or 4 weeks. In these hours, Newcastle are working on a deal for Hugo Ekitike. So let them work. Let's see what's.
I'm so jealous. I'm literally so jealous of Newcastle United. And for those of you who do follow me on X, if you're a Newcastle fan, go and give me a follow. My own fan base absolutely hate me because I am not a fan of Victor Gyökeres. I've said it many times before. I do not rate the guy to the levels a lot of the Arsenal fans do. And Hugo Ekitike was one of the strikers on there. I was begging Arsenal to get ahead of Victor Gyökeres because of how good he is. Sort of things he can do, the ways he can open up opposition defensive, the variety of ways he allows you to play. Hugo Ekitike is a phenomenal project centre forward. And even now he can come in and make an impact. And you're thinking about, okay, I've seen Liverpool fans try and say because Ekitike is coming in, it means Isak is leaving. No chance about it. Newcastle United can definitely operate in a system with both Hugo Ekitike and Isak in the side. And I genuinely believe that will be the case. We'll talk about it in more depth a bit later. But if we're going to analyse the player, looking at the raw stats, look at that. 34 GA and 48. This is scary because he's not fully blossomed yet. He's not fully blossomed yet, and these are the statistics that he's shown. 34 goal contributions in 48 games. This is a guy who is baby Isak. So essentially, if we're being as, looking at it in the same boat as those Liverpool fans, okay, Isak is staying this year, 100%. So the next 2 years, if Isak wants ridiculous money, because nobody is above the Newcastle project. Doesn't matter how good you are, you're not above the project. And if you're demanding silly money, you can go respectively because Newcastle United can replace you. They can sustain themselves without you. So if Isak next summer wants to leave, I'd love to see him to go to Barcelona, show respect and not stay in the Premier League. Newcastle have somebody who can just come straight in and play the lone 9 and essentially be exactly what Isak was. I've never seen such a smart move from Newcastle United, which covers all bases. You get a phenomenal player to play with Isak, and if Isak decides to stay for 3 or 4 more years, they play together. If Isak is begging for a move next summer or the summer after, he comes straight in and can play the lone 9 and Newcastle can add another midfielder in. That is so smart. It genuinely is phenomenal squad playing. And of course, if we're looking more at his stats again, he had 11 goals and 3 assists for Reims in 26 games. That's unreal. 4 goals, 4 assists in 32 for PSG, then 4 and 2 in 17 for Frankfurt. This guy, I really love him. I really love this profile of a centre forward. And, it's just insane how Newcastle are going to have both him and Alexander Isak. And it shows intent. It shows courage in the market. Courage in the market that I'm not seeing from certain clubs that are meant to be challenging for a title. That is what I'm seeing. Level raises and not just ceiling raises. Not just players who are raising the floor, but they're raising the ceiling. That's what I'm trying to say. That's exactly what Hugo Ekitike does. If we're looking at his FBref model, like I said, you don't even need to be a stat geek or geek or somebody that doesn't even like to take in stats to understand this data is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Progressive passes, top 9% in Europe. This is a centre forward who can equally create and score. He's one of the quickest snap shooters, I think, in Europe. Same mould and ilk of Isak in the sense that when the ball comes to them, they'll take a shot quickly. They won't waste no time. And those guys are great against low blocks. Newcastle's problem has been low blocks. Ekitike solves that. Him and Isak's box presence, when you've got the opposition camped in, is just an absolute joke. Progressive carries, top 4%. This guy can dribble. He can carry the ball for long distances. He's such a good dribbler, you know. A lot of people look at him and be like, all right, you know, he's tall lad, you know, maybe he's got a bit of pace about him. No. You know how good Isak is on the ball? I genuinely believe Ekitike is a dribbler. His potential can be of the level of Isak, if not even better. And I know that's a crazy statement, but Ekitike's ball manipulation is otherworldly. He shouldn't be moving like that at this height and size he is. Then you're looking at those shots total. Like I said, he's a snappy shooter, so he's in the top 7% of shots taken. Very, very good. Non-penalty XG, very, very good. Pass completion, very, very good. Successful tackles, top 4%, very, very good. I've never been more excited for a player for Newcastle United. In terms of, wow, I'm jealous. Isak and Ekitike are going to be the best centre-forward duo in Europe, in the world. I don't see a better team with two better strikers. The only team that would come close is Bayern if they get Voltemada. And they're still 2 levels below Ekitike and Isak. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal that Newcastle could pull this deal off. And I know it's a long way away, and I know it's just starting, but Newcastle have intent. You know, people talk about a slow window, but this is intent being shown. Here are a couple of stats about him. Hugo Ekitike scored 35 goals, 18 assists across the 6,400 minutes he's played. That's 0.74 GA per 90. That's so good. It's genuinely so good to have that. You know, it genuinely is. And you know, a lot of people will sort of talk about, you know, him as not a pure goal scorer. But these statistics, you don't need to be such a neat and go into more detail to understand this guy's put the ball in the net. Put the ball in the net. He can do all the outside the box and the forward stuff. It's genuinely, it's top. It's top stop. And we're looking at this again. This is against under 23 forwards. He's first. No one touches him. Nobody is touching Hugo Ekitike as a centre forward under 23 in Europe. People forget how young he is already. It's a phenomenal deal. It's a phenomenal deal. If it's below £85 million, Newcastle have had the pounce down of many clubs that have tried to sign a striker, including mine. Below £85 million, Hugo Ekitike is a phenomenal signing to play for Newcastle United. And the way I wanted to end this video is look at how Newcastle United could look. And this is without the likes of Harvey Barnes, without Joe Linton, without Jacob Murphy, without Byrne, without Scalvini, who they're going to sign, without Pope. Look at that. This is a nailed-on top 5 side. I'm not even going to lie. No doubt about it. You go in the season, you say these guys are guaranteed Champions League football. You know what? These guys are actually guaranteed a deep run in the Champions League. These guys are a problem. Eddie Howe, slow start to the window, but my word, on Newcastle cooking if they get Ekitike done.